Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's October 8th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And you can see we had a really bullish day today. We traded up in the overnight. We had a little break and a new high, and we mostly just corrected sideways, and then we started a new trend up again. And we closed considerably higher than yesterday. We didn't quite make as high as we did yesterday. Maybe we'll break out tomorrow and push higher. We'll see. Um, we definitely have some support right across here. The 21 EMA seems to be holding. We traded below that today, but I think that was yesterday evening during the overnight. But anyway, there it is. Very bullish day, and the chart looks similar. A lot of it came in the overnight. But let's flip over there and take a look at it, and we'll go through the trades, and we'll wrap this day up. Okay, here it is. You can see the trend we had up, close outside, a couple legs to a new high. We really just kind of went sideways here. We did correct back down, and we tested these lows. You can see there's a good bit of support right across this level right here. And it's around 57.75, but you can see we had a triple test there and took off. And we ended up with another trend that had a close, a new high, and then we kind of sold off after that. But there it is. Again, we were up till about 10 o'clock. Then we worked sideways till lunchtime, and then we were up again. But let's zoom in here. We'll go through the trades. 7 o'clock came as we're kind of topping out in here, right in here. This was a second entry long, but I wouldn't take this. This looks too congested here. I think that was at 7. I can't remember if that was. It's a little before 7 anyway. I think this was the first trade that you could take. You might have been able to take this one, but it was a little before 7 too. If you were here, you might be able to take that trade. Notice you got the green channel working up you at the close and two swings to a new high, then the lower high, which I really like. And you might have considered going short here. You could have actually traded that on the engulfing bar and treated that as a failed break. Actually, just a break of your channel and two legs up. It's a possibility. I'll mark it green, but I think you're better off to wait on that lower high. And that's a quick, easy move. And then we're just kind of this is all too congested. Don't try to trade that. Then you're working up, close outside, new high. This is technically a lower high, but I don't like that signal bar right into the midline that we've bounced off of a couple of times already. It does end up being a failed breakout and coming back down. This was another possibility. I didn't mark that one because you're not back to the trend line, but you're so close to this support that you do have a close outside a new low there, and it's really close to that. Maybe you mark that. I think you're better off to wait. And if you can see a few minutes later, you get another bounce, and it's close enough to the trend line to where you're probably safe now. And that runs back up, comes back down. This one I would not take. I'd wait on the second entry. I think if you took that, it works, but I wouldn't take it. Let's just see if there's enough room there. Yeah, there's enough room. If you took that one, I would wait on the second entry and just to make sure you're going to get it here. I'm just not crazy about going long right there. I mean, we've bounced there multiple times, so I guess you could argue for it with a trend line and everything else being there. But you see, you still got to close outside, and you would have got stopped out. But it looks like there's enough room to scalp out on that one. Again, I think you're better off to wait on this next move here. And again, you could trade that on the engulfing bar, but I'd probably wait for this to close just to make sure that you close high. And then I like going long there. And you might even argue there's a higher low here, but that looks too congested by that point. Again, it works. You could have taken it, but you really have to wait for that to close. Let me zoom in here a little bit. It's kind of hard to see probably. And you got a little bit of stem. It closed back below the midline there. I would just sit tight and wait. here you're too close to the highs, I think. So I think, again, just sit tight. It does take off, though, and you don't really get another chance to trade this. You make a new high, and then you're just kind of working lower here. And you do get a close outside here. It's not super convincing, but you get a close outside and then you low, and then you get this next test. And so you could argue there's at least a triple test there, and that would be a high or low, if it breaks above those two bars. I like that one. When it didn't take off then, that's just way too congested. Don't enter on this one. Even though you would have survived that, don't enter there. That's not a. You can see it almost got stopped out there. It's not a high probability trade or anything. And here again, you're just chopping along, and you continue to bounce off this trend line, but there's just not enough evidence here to know if you're going to go higher or what's going to happen. And then suddenly it just rockets off. I didn't show any news items today, so I don't know what happened here, unless people just assumed the market was going higher and they all jumped in. Maybe a lot of people got short here thinking the trend was over, and they decided to give up when it went higher here. Runs up, gets a close outside, a couple of swings to a new high. Again, you could argue for this to be a possibility, but you're better off to wait on the lower high, and you just don't get one there. That bar's no good. You're just chopping along. You're just, all this is congestion. And then you get a little failed break lower here. And you could actually argue that this line is here, but you only get a couple of touches there, and here I think you get more touches. Still using most of the closes, but it's kind of hard to know where this. Again, you're not turning at the same spot every time. It tends to work out better down here the way I've got it here, so that's the reason I adjusted it, because it tended to fit better. And then you can see you came up short again. So these are hard to trade, but when you don't get consistent lows and highs. But anyway, that's a second entry long. This is basically a double top, new high, first entry, second entry. It's a failed breakout. So for that, and you do get a close outside and the new low all in one bar here. So I like that one. It's a little aggressive. You're better off to wait on the higher low, which comes here. And you don't get anything but a scalp, and then it takes your runner out. And then you get another higher low here. I like going long there. This bar is a little bigger, but I think you're okay with 14 ticks. There's still plenty of room to the highs there. There's a hidden second entry here, but I wouldn't take that. You're just sit tight, and you end up getting a failed breakout. Big bearish bar, closes back inside. I like that one. That one's close to being red. You could argue maybe for it to be red. You at least make it green. But you can see what happens. It comes back and it almost stops you out. And that's why you generally wait on that lower high. Then you get another big bearish bar. It closes inside. You may not can get in this one. Unfortunately, it gaps over. So this is one you might have to put a limit order. And if you do, it does come back and get you. Now, whether or not you want to wait that long, I don't know. Depending on where you put it, you might even got filled when it came back on this bar, but it definitely would have filled you on this one if you put it in the original spot. And then it runs back to the lows again, and you get another bounce here. This was another second entry long. We're not looking for second entries. The problem here is you got a trend working down, and I don't think you got a close outside. Well, I guess you do. You still got the close outside and new low there. That's actually going to be khaki. So you could still take that one. It's clearly a first entry, second entry. So you could argue for that one. You're better off to go with a higher low. And then you test the highs again. Nice bearish bar. I like going short there. The only reason this one's not red is because you get this inside bar that makes a 2-bar matching low. You could still go short on a break below that. I marked it green. It's not ideal, but you could still go short there. Then you bounce early here, and you get another chance to go short right there with a big bearish bar. This is like a little trap right here. Notice those 3-bar matching high, and it breaks higher and turns down. You got to wait for this to close. As long as you got room to get out right there. And again, it gaps over, so I don't know that you get in that trade or not, but you could try it. It's green, so it's a little aggressive because your ideal place to enter on this range is to go short off this line as close to it as you can with a good signal bar, and long off this line as close to it as you can with a good signal bar. So I hope that's clear. We talk about that a lot, and people just keep emailing me about these things. So, but anyway, you get a second entry long here. 2 legs down. I like possibility of going long on that one. I made it green, and you do get a higher low here, but it just looks congested then. We're probably still going to go back to the EMA, but it could stop you out, and you see what would have happened here. It would have gotten you. And just, you got to avoid these. Once you see that bar with no body or that engulfing bar, you got to be real careful with them because it usually leads to congestion, and you can get stopped out on congestion even if you get the direction right and you understand the direction. So you just have to be real careful with them. And then we're just running up this thing. There is a second entry here, but that's, I just don't like that in that range. Turns out to be a really nice move. But then you get 2 legs back and you get a close outside. It's not convincing, but it's only like 5 bar. It's only like 5 ticks. So I like going long there. It's a little risky, but I mean, that's a strong trend working up there. And with only 5 ticks, it's very low risk. So I like taking it. Then you turn back down. First, you get a close outside. You don't quite get it. You actually, well, you don't quite get a new low there. You get a 3-bar matching low. And then you make a higher low here. This actually breaks lower and turns. You got to wait on that to close. It closes real bullish, and I like low going long there. Again, it's a little aggressive. You don't have a whole lot of room to this high, but this was a pretty strong trend up. So you're going to probably get a retest. Again, I made it green, so it's a little aggressive. But if you're going to take one, that's the kind you want to take. And you could see that would have been a nice trade, actually. You could have traded, you could have hung on to that even into 230 if you wanted. You got another second entry in here, but it's a little too late. First entry, second entry. But there it is. Mostly up. I mean, we spent half the day going sideways from about 9 o'clock to 12, a little after 12. 3 hours. Kind of going sideways, and then we rallied again. But yeah, nice trading day. Not a ton of trades, but there's a few decent ones there. Again, in these ranges, a lot of greens. These the last couple of ranges we've had, like yesterday and this thing, these are not easy to trade. Now, this low was pretty consistent, but this high is not very consistent. Well, even the low isn't consistent, because you see we bounced there. We bounced early there, so it's a little more consistent than the highs, but it's still not super consistent, and that makes it hard to trade. So anyway, not much else we can say about today, so I'm going to wrap this one up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.